Talking about permitting today, St. Mary Parish 70514. All right, so let's get this show started. Like every day, we like to start out with a $500 discount to our military personnel, healthcare worker, first responders, and educators. If you're one of those people, make sure you get your $500 discount, okay? Now, if you want to upgrade to a signature on our elite building, type in cash to a live feed just like this one, get an extra $1,000 off, all right? Where's Mallett this week? We got 80 jobs. I always say we got a little bit more than that, but we got 80 on that show up here, and we're all over the place. I think our furthest one looks like close, a little past Shreveport maybe. So we got some in Texas, well, let's just go see. You ready? Louisiana, we got 60 jobs. That's anything from gutters to concrete to control joints to plumbing to building construction to deliveries. All these jobs is going on as we speak, okay? So, and we like to show you this because we want to show you how involved we are and how it takes an army to really do what we do. You know, we like to try to build at least 10 buildings a week if we can, so we can try to get, you know, inch up each week. You know, the past week we've had couple of weeks we had some bad weather. You know, that always plays a role when you're dealing with construction, and it's just something that you have to go through when you deal with construction. And we gotta shift and move and reschedule and do all this. So it's a part of construction that you can't avoid. So, but needless to say, every week we're out there, we're doing the same thing. We got our gutter crews, we got our foreman crews, we got our concrete finishers, we got our inspections, we got our building crews out there working for you, okay? And and then in Texas, let me see my clicker. In Texas, we are, you know, we got 19 jobs going all the way past College Station over there. You know, we're foreman, we're doing concrete, inspections, control joints, all across Texas too, folks. I just love showing you where we're at. And I mean, we have a team that's going to all 80 of these jobs, no matter how small they are. And I don't even think, and I know one thing that's not on here is red tags. Red tags, we're doing 2 or 3 jobs a day. So that's why I know that it's always over what we say here. And what is a red tag? While we're on that subject, what is a red tag? A red tag can be anything from, you know, a doorknob missing on your building that somebody's got to go bring, you know, a broken window possibly that we got to go back and change out, you know, because it's warranted, and maybe the builder broke it putting it up, or maybe the foreman crew, you know, chipped it with a rock. We don't know. Whatever it is, a red tag is something that we have a whole separate team that we try to put together, and we got to schedule all those too, because you can imagine every project that you do, whether it's small at your house, you know, something goes wrong on that project, you know, and you got to go back and fix it or do whatever you got to do. That's what we call a red tag. So we have those 2 or 3 of those every day. And like I said, most of the time there's something small. You know, we got to go touch up, paint something. We got to, you know, adjust the door, whatever it may be. But that's not on here. But just anyway, I love the show where we're at on the map. It's a cool thing. December specials. Now remember, we're talking about these nice little backyard buildings. You know, this is a neighborhood special. This is our Rival Series. The Rival Series was designed to go after the competition, because we just, frankly, we don't build, a Mallett building doesn't build a cheap building. But we recognize that there's a lot of people out there that don't really, that are looking for the bottom line, and they don't really they're not interested in 2x8 truss. And that's what we build here, standard across all Mallett buildings, which is superior than anything else out there. So we designed a Rival building. It was built by Mallett, but is not technically a Mallett building, because there's important factors we're going to get into in a minute of what's not in this building. It's what our competitors Okay, but anyway, we can build you this building for $16,999. It's a 20 by 40 by 12. You're going to have 29 gauge metal, 4-on-12 roof pitch, 2x6 truss, common flat truss. This building will be 130 mile an hour wind rated. No uplift control. That's very important. All Mallett buildings has our Mallett cable lock system. Okay, I'll go over that in a minute. Posts in the dirt on or gravel. Most of the time they're in the dirt. Okay, we don't do that here at Mallett. We have a pad that your post sits on. I'll tell you about that. 3,000 psi concrete. We don't do that. That's what our competitors do. 2x8 headers. That's a big no-no. No ground protection. 2-year workmanship warranty. Number one, untreated lumber. We can build this for you, folks, and we will build it. If you're looking for something cheap, this is your option. All right. Now we have a little bit bigger building. We got a 20 by 50 by 12 Christmas backyard neighborhood special. Cute building. I mean, they're still gonna. I mean, it's still a nice building. It's just not a Mallett building. It's just not superior. It's just not the best you can get out there. Same thing, same specs as the other one. This is our rival series, folks. That's why the price is so cheap. Now, let's talk about the red flags. Red flags, what we say is years in business. You can find this out on the Secretary of State website. If they've been in business for a couple of years, that could be a red flag. Are they going to be here? If they tell you they got a 5-year warranty, are they going to be here or not? Most people close shop. Even some of our competitors have already changed hands. So the same owner's not there, so I don't know what's happening to their warranty. But it's really going to be a red flag when you go to the Secretary of State website and you're thinking about doing business with a company and they don't even appear on there. That could be a real serious red flag. Licensure. Make sure that they have the proper license. They need to be a contractor. Okay, even though you may be you may choose to pull the permit and be, to save 15 to 20%. That just means that they're not going to manage the whole job for you and tell you be there, have a project guy there, check and balance stuff. Most of the time, people want to save a little bit of money, and that's fine. You are going to be required to do certain things, and we try to help you and send you messages, send you paperwork, and send you videos to help you guide along the process. But keep in mind, it's very important that you be here and you look for these things, okay? Because that's what you're choosing when you don't choose to be, for say like us, to be the contractor on record, which we're gonna have to charge for that. We're gonna have to charge. Most people don't do that, and that's perfectly fine. But right here is, what I'm saying right here is the vendor that is building you, or the company that is building your building in your yard, should have a contractor's license. It's required, okay? Even though they might not be the contractor on record, they should still have. You can find this information of who you're thinking about. If you're shopping out there, you can find out from the LSLBC website whether they have a contractor's license or not. We have commercial license, residential, and electrical, okay? Also on the LSLBC website, you can find out if they have any violations. I'm proud to say after 27 years, we don't have any, and most of our competitors do. You can go look that up yourself. I don't need to name our competitors. You can go look that up yourself if you're considering, buying a post frame building from somebody else. Go look them up, all right? And that's the contractor violation. Reviews on BBB and Google. We have 650 plus reviews on BBB and Google. Between those two, most of our competitors don't have any. I think that's a red flag, and you should too. All right, so keep all that in mind, folks. And then lastly, visit their facility. If they don't have a facility, that might be a red flag, okay? We invite you here. We want you to come here. Come look at this beautiful metal that we're putting up on a roll form. It's a wood grain look. It's really, we're getting calls every day from people wanting to know, when we'll be up and running so they can buy that metal. Now, why Mallett? Let's talk about the rival series, okay? One of our ambassadors is just up there, Tim. He's saying the rival is a basic code compliant building that maximizes square foot cost over other parameters. He's right. And let me tell you how it does. So let's take our Mallett Classic. The Mallett Classic building is our lowest in the Mallett line, but it is superior than anything out there, any of our competitors out there, and here's why. The Rival Series, remember I told you, we designed that series so we can be price competitive with our competition. Now, I still think that we're price competitive here. If you're talking a couple thousand, $3,000, but look how much more you get. Over here you get 29 gauge metal. Over here on our Classic you get 26 gauge. Over there you get 4 on 12 roof pitch. You get 5 on 12 roof pitch here on our Classic building. Over there you get 2x6 trusses. We get 2x8, which is a 170 mile an hour truss, folks, on your roofing system. Now the building is different, but I'm talking about just your truss. Stronger truss. You're getting that for a few $1,000s more. All right. Over here you're going to get common truss. Over here you're going to get scissor truss, which is you're going to feel, when you walk into that building, it's going to feel so much bigger because you have, you could put a bigger door in the center of that building, as where when you use a common truss, you can't do that. All right. All our truss is third party inspected. I mentioned 170 mile an hour. They're 135 mile an hour, 30 or 35, no uplift control. This is a big deal. Uplift control. We have what we call the Mallett cable lock system. No, none of our competitors do this, folks. And it is superior to anything out there. We tie all your posts together underneath that concrete. The dead weight of that concrete is protecting the uplift of that building, because when wind gets in that door, that roll-up door is the first thing that goes in a building. It's gonna penetrate through that. There's things that you can do to try to help that roll-up door when we get high winds, hurricane winds. You can go in there and screw a couple of 2x4s, because you got a post in your building right here. You can screw a couple of 2x4s, and that's going to help that door stay in that track. So keep that in mind when you're preparing your house and all that. Remember to go screw you some on the back. But if that wind gets through there, you need to have superior uplift control. And all our Mallett buildings, the Classic buildings, has the Mallett cable lock system. If you want to know more about that, our building specialist is educated on that, and they can explain that to you. And I have done that, Leah's done that, we all have done that right here on live. But if you're really interested in it and want to know more, I'm going to move on to the next one. So that's a big thing right here, this cable lock system. Concrete under every post. It's another big thing. All the weight of your building is on the post of the building, okay? So if you didn't do your due diligence, which I would say 70% of the people don't build a pad when they're building a post frame or they're building a shop in their backyard. They just don't do it. And you don't have to. That's fine. The only thing that could happen is you could have some soil problems, and you could have some major cracking in concrete if you don't do that. But the building will last forever that way too, so most people don't do it. I always recommend that you do a pad and that you have a compaction test done. Now, imagine that if you don't do a pad and you're in the earth with a post, and all the weight of that building is on those posts. It's not on the slab, it's on the posts. And if you have substantial soil, that building can start sinking, all right? Our competitors don't put any footing in those pads. In the old days, they used gravel, which is rocks, which is sufficient. It's a pad underneath there. So what we do is we do an 80-pound bag of concrete, which has aggregate in there. We put that in there, and the moisture from the earth hardens that thing up. But we put a footing underneath every post. Our competitors don't. In the Rival Series, you don't get that. That's very important. 2x12 headers. Our competitors on a Rival Series that I just showed you a special on is 2x8. We use two 2x12 headers on our Mallett standard, okay? That is what your truss sit on, okay? it's just superior, folks. You know, we take the extra mile when you buy a Mallett building to try to make you the best building in the country. And I know that we've done that because there's no other building out there like ours. All right, skirt board guard. We use that. They don't. They have ground contact on your skirt board, even though they probably are treated, and ours are on arrival, treated. And it's lifetime treated, but, you know, you still can get decay and stuff still could happen, you know. So we protect that. We go that extra mile to protect that. Why not? And then 4,000 PSI is standard across the board on all our Mallett buildings. That is 33% stronger than 3,000. Our competitors and our rival series is a 3,000 PSI concrete, okay? Now, I don't know about you, but I have mentioned quite a bit of things that is going to justify a better building for a few $1,000s more, okay? So we developed the rival series because we needed to compete with our competitors and give you a cheaper building. But understand, when I say cheaper, it is truly cheaper. It's not as good as our regular Mallett buildings, okay? We use #1 kiln-dried treated lumber throughout the whole entire building. There's nothing untreated when you get a Mallett building. Now on arrival, there may be some untreated material, just like our competitors we're going to give you. All right, in-house engineering design. Why is that important? Well, because most of our competitors have to buy their truss from somebody else. They have to buy this from somebody else. And they're putting the pieces together of your building, and I'm not sure if they can engineer that building and tell you exactly what the wind load is on every component of that building. I just don't see how they can do that. Well, with our in-house engineer, every building is engineered to the T. It's designed, that building is designed for you. So later on, if I know how the insurance companies are going in the future, they're going to want to know this type of information. And if they look at your paperwork from all these other companies out there that can't have an engineered building put together, and they see that they just piecing this together, you might have a problem, okay? So I'm just throwing that out there. And but that's the difference between our competitors and our rival series building, the cheaper buildings, if you will, compared to our Mallett Classic building. To me, if it's a $3,000 difference, folks, I named you. You're getting, keep in mind, #1 kiln-dried lumber alone is 60% stronger, if not more, than any of the #2 wood out there. It's stronger wood. That says something. It costs more to buy #1 grade lumber than it is to buy #2 grade lumber. All this is stuff that you need to know. But at the end of the day, look, we know that there's people out there that just wants a cheap building. And we got that for you with the rival series. Now, if you want something that's going to last you a lifetime and hurricanes, come to get you a Mallett building. Now, let's talk about the Classic building. Now, this is a true Mallett building here. Cajun Oasis Classic, you got a 30 by 50 by 12 for $49,999, but that has an electrical package in it and a 5-ton AC in it. All right, when you're done, turn on the lights, turn on the AC or the heater, and you're cooling yourself out. You can build that thing out on the inside how you want it. We're throwing in a $10,000 value on this building. We're giving to you. In this price, we're throwing that in, okay? That's the Classic 30 by 50. Now, if you want to go to the Elite, which is the best of the best, and it's got all the bells and whistles, what do I mean by that? You get 6-inch concrete, gutters, gutter brushes, control joints, post protector, whole 9 yards. There's a list of things that you get with the Elite. It's truly the best building in the country, all right? You got a 30 by 50 for $59,999, and same thing, 5-ton AC, electrical package, climate control, insulation, and price includes all that. It's a $10,000 value we're throwing in on that building, folks. So that's that Cajun Oasis special. It's a great building, great package, turnkey for you. All right, Mallett Ambassador, talk about this a lot. what is an ambassador? An ambassador is somebody that takes interest in our company and don't mind showing their Mallett building off, and we pay them a referral fee to do that. My building specialist can set you up with an appointment. You can go walk through the building. You can see for your own eyes the wood. When you walk into our building compared to anybody else's, you see the difference. You truly see the difference. And then you can ask the ambassadors, you know, how was their experience? What went wrong? Did they make a mistake? Did they go back and fix it? What, you know, give me the good stuff. You know, you can do that. And we got plenty of ambassadors. We always have Mr. Tim Tackett watching up here. He's a great ambassador. He will talk to you. He will tell you, you know, especially if you're building a barndominium, he can tell you all the ropes of that, you know, and he's done a lot of work himself. So that's what an ambassador is, and that's what you can benefit from the ambassador. And if you want to be an ambassador, we'll pay you a $200 referral fee every time you send us, or anytime somebody looks at your building. Okay? Now, let's talk a little bit about permitting. We're talking about St. Mary Parish at 70514. Let's look into St. Mary Parish real quick. Who issues the permits at 70514? Permitting Authority, St. Mary Parish Planning and Zoning Department. Baldwin does not issue its own building permits. All permits are handled at the parish level. Office is in Franklin, Louisiana, and you contact the Planning and Zoning Department. Codes and regulations, all construction in Baldwin must comply with St. Mary Parish Planning and Zoning Department. St. Mary Parish codes, Development Code UDC, these govern zoning and land, setbacks and drainage, structure and engineering standards. Okay, do you need a permit? Yes, you do. Post frame buildings, yes. Shops and garages, yes. Storage buildings, yes. Metal or post frame, yes. You need a permit for all these. Additions and expansions, yes, you do. Even open-sided post frame, even like a pavilion. That's what we're talking about here. Open-ended, you know, just a roof. You need a permit, folks. Don't let the permit process, you know, it's really an easy process. You just have to do some work. And look, at the end of the day, if you need help, we're here to help you, especially if you buy a building from us. We'll help you through this. All right, what you must submit, your property info, like your owner detail, your parcel number, zoning, flood zones. More than likely, you're going to need an address. It doesn't say that here, so maybe this parish you don't, but I think you probably will. Building details, dimension and height, colors and material. What you're building, what type of material you're building. They want to know this. Your truss specs and spacing, very, very important. They're going to want to see this. Intended use, you know, site plan and drawings. So property lines, they're going to want to know where the property lines are. So you're going to have some type of drawing there. We can do that. Building locations, setbacks, driveways, utilities, drainage, construction drawings, floor plan, elevation, construction layout, post frame, footing detail, door and window. And when you buy a building from us, we provide you with that, all that information you need. Reviews, inspections, and final notice. Zoning compliance, structural code review, floodplain and drainage review. And this is when you submit your permit, it goes through all these departments. After approval, permit must be posted on site. Inspections must include structural, electrical, plumbing, and final, if you're doing those. Okay? So basically, you know, you can laminate your permit or put it like in a little sleeve and tack it on wherever you at your thing. You should have it on site at your job site. Final reminders: all permits go through St. Mary Parish. Post frame buildings always require permits. Flood zones and are common in this area, so they got different flood zones. Preparation: so if you prepare, you're going to have a faster approval. All right, that's our show today, folks. We really appreciate your business. We'll see you tomorrow.